I'm sort of known in my family to never, ever really get that anxious or scared about stuff all that much. To never get nervous. If something goes wrong, I'm always the one that's like, let's just all calm down. It's not that big of a deal. And it is very, very rare that I do actually get anxious about stuff. And the reason for that is I think I just don't take a lot of things seriously. I take things that aren't actually that serious, I take them not that serious. Like, I know some people that if they were to turn down the wrong road while driving and get a tiny bit lost, that would shatter their entire day and they would go into a mental breakdown. But I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. We live in an age where you have a worldwide map and a full GPS in your hand almost all the time. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that difficult, right? So I can think a lot more logically than a lot of people, I think. And I'm saying that in the most humble way I can. But in the very few times that I do get sort of anxious or scared, I found that my personal favorite way to calm myself down or to kind of reassure myself is to look at the bigger picture of things. And there is some scientific evidence behind this. Basically, what you do is if you made a mistake, right? An embarrassing mistake, if you've embarrassed yourself, or if you are afraid you're going to, sit down, take a breath, and think, in a year, in 1 year, maybe even in 1 month, is this gonna matter? Maybe not. For example, if you're about to do a speech, and if you make a mistake, like if you stutter or forget a line, think after the speech or during the speech, this isn't gonna matter in probably a week. Like, if I keep thinking, like, if I keep worrying about this and staying stuck on it, the only person who's gonna be still thinking about it in like a week is me, right? So you just have to take a breath, clear your mind, sit down by yourself, maybe take a drink of water, wash your face, or whatever, just sit down, and just tell yourself, in 1 year or less, this is not gonna matter at all. No one's gonna care anymore, no one's gonna be thinking about it. It's not going to matter. Now, with this tactic, you have to be very, very careful, because it can ultimately spread down like 3 roads, where you can either go down a road where you keep doing that. Whenever you make a mistake, you just say, it's not going to matter in a year, whatever, right? Stay responsible with it, and you just move on with life. You could go down the more philosophical road, where you kind of go into stoicism, which is the belief that where you choose to not worry about things that you're not able to control, and focus on things where you are able to control, sorry. And there's a lot more to it, but that's a brief, just kind of description, right? So it kind of can go down that road where you're like, I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna start just focusing on what I'm able to control. Or you can go down the worst road, and you can become somewhat of a nihilist, where you start saying like, well, if this doesn't matter, what if this doesn't matter, This movie that I enjoy in 100 years is gonna be gone, who cares, My relatives could die tomorrow, might as well not even make any relationships, And then you just not care anymore. And that's when you don't want to go down. So one belief that I have is, before you start anything, before you do anything, study it. Study it deeply. And you can even use the same tactic that I gave you a second ago in other things. If you are going to get breakfast and you have like 2 options, cereal or a more healthy breakfast, think, in a day or 3 days, what am I going to be more proud of myself for eating? The healthy breakfast that will give me good health, or just cereal that I'm not going to worry about anymore in like an hour? Like, think about it. In that moment, you really want that cereal. or pancakes or whatever it is. But after you eat it, you get that same, I don't know about you guys, but for me, if I eat something unhealthy, I really want it. But then like 2 seconds after finishing it, I'm like, kind of said that, I finished it, I wanted more, right? Then for a while, I'm kind of just sort of depressed, not really depressed, but kind of just like whatever. I mean, that kind of stunk. Like, unless I have something distracting me, I'm kind of like, kind of wanted more, you know? So ultimately, it's better to eat the healthy food, right? So think about that. Think it's better to eat the healthy food than the not healthy food, because it's going to benefit me. I'm going to be caring about it a lot more in the future. I'm going to be proud of myself. So ultimately, I would say in everything you do, study it and look at the future, right? So yeah, and you can also sort of branch out from this idea if you're a Christian or if you believe in God or in some sort of bigger plan, right? You can always also use this, like if you make a mistake in a speech, or if you get lost while driving, or if you buy the wrong thing that was really expensive, sit and think, maybe this is all part of that plan. I mean, in Christianity, the belief, or in the Bible in general, you know, God knows everything that's going to happen, right? Everything's planned. Nothing's done for no reason. Everything has a purpose. So if you make a mistake in a speech, you have that reassuring idea, well, this was for a purpose. You know, I had to learn from this. Work hard, a bit harder, you know, so I don't make another mistake, and learn to accept my mistakes and move on. And I think that's probably the best technique to use to stay calm, is to think logically about everything. Think, in a year, is this gonna matter, right? And then come back to the present and be like, does that even matter right now, really? If I make a mistake in a speech or the other examples, you know? And then again, use that same technique in decisions in the future, in a year, or even less, in a day. Which choice is going to be the better option, right? Like, really think about it, you know? Is it better to take this type of car or buy this type of car? Is it better to stay up all night doom scrolling, or is it better to go sleep early? Is it better to eat this breakfast or this breakfast? Think about it. Always think about it deeply. And you don't want to consume every single second of your life not taking a single step unless you analyze every single option, because there's a near infinite amount of possibilities. So I would ultimately say, just think about the bigger picture in things. When you make a mistake, look to the future, right? When you have a decision to make, look to the future, but live in the present. Yeah, look to the future, but live in the present. When you're planning or having a decision or make a mistake, look to the future, right? Is this going to matter in a year? What's going to be the most important in the future? But ultimately, other than those moments, making a mistake or making a decision or planning something, live in the present, not the past. Always just move on from the past. The past, there's no point in even thinking about the past, unless you have to apologize for something or make up for something, or for something actually something that you can change or help in the present, right? Or the future, forget about it. If you hurt someone in the past and they've already forgiven you, you've already apologized, move on. There's no possible way you can change it. Move on. So when you make a mistake, look to the future, but live in the present. Forget about the past. That's what I would say. Same thing with Christianity. I mean, when Jesus forgives you, forget about the past. Forget about all the evil stuff you did in the past. It doesn't matter at all anymore, right? If an other person has forgiven you for something you did to them in the past, forget about it. It doesn't matter anymore, right? They've already forgiven you. You can't change it. It doesn't matter. live in the present, enjoy the present moment because it's gonna pass, right? And look to the future, right? That's what I think is most important.